There's been recent chatter that Columbus, a former CMV cruise ship, which is perhaps better known for her time as P&O's Pacific Pearl, may soon join her fleetmates on the scrap heap. But before we all panic, let's put things into context. In early 2020, there were around 300 cruise ships in service. And by my count, there's been 17 cruise ships scrapped since the cruise pause started in March of 2020. This means that 94% of cruise ships haven't been scrapped. And while there's no denying that the surge in scrapping of cruise ships is a direct result of the impact of the crippling COVID shutdown, I'm here to tell you that there have been mass scrappings of passenger ships in the past, even more severe than what we're seeing today, and cruising has not only survived, but thrived. In the last 6 months or so, a seemingly endless parade of cruise ships have gone to the scrapyards to be dismantled. 17 ships in that period of time is a lot of cruise ships to be broken up, and the sheer number of cruise ships being scrapped during the COVID pandemic has captured the attention of the public and the media. Reports of the decline of cruising, characterized by images of cruise ships on the beaches, have been beamed all across the world for months now. And sure, the imagery of beached and broken up cruise ships does make compelling viewing. Ship scrapping, or the process of recycling retired ships, has existed for about as long as ships. That is to say, it's ancient. But during the boom times, the retirement and scrapping of ships is more of a trickle than a flood. High demand for ocean travel has always led to older ships finding a role in a supplementary capacity. For example, in the early 20th century, many of the premier shipping lines ran feeder services and intermediate line voyages with their older ships. This is similar to how older cruise ships were retained by cruise lines during the cruise boom of the 1990s and 2000s, even as newer cruise ships were built. Many of the ships that no longer fit their original line were sold to new operators and managed to draw a crowd, either through offering cheaper or niche products. And there was plenty of demand to justify keeping the older ships in service for longer. Okay, sure, the ships of old are a far cry from the modern cruise behemoths that we see today. But nevertheless, even wooden sailing ships were recycled and scrapped well before the idea of a cruise was floated. In the Roaring '20s, there was an upsurge in tourist travel. As such, many older ships were put to work as both liners and on cruise itineraries. But the crash of 1929 and the subsequent impact of the Great Depression led to mass layoffs of passenger ships. Demand for travel decreased dramatically, and it stayed that way for years. This left lines with little choice but to retire and scrap their older ships. And a lot of the famous passenger ships of their day were scrapped during this time. This included the Mauretania, the Leviathan, and even the Olympic, sister ship to the Titanic. But despite the lasting impacts of the Depression, many shipping lines endured, and in some cases, even built new ships. This is similar to what we're seeing today, with cruise lines in a state of hibernation, yet they're still building and in some cases ordering new ships in anticipation for the good times to return. You can check out a video I made about the cruise ships being ordered and built at the moment in the info card or the description below. Fast forward to the late 40s and 50s, and this period of time was considered a golden age for travel. Ocean liners were still really the only way to travel, though post-war piston-driven airliners were improving. A boost in tourism led to many people taking to the sea for the first time in search of adventure. But in 1958, everything changed when Boeing introduced its revolutionary 707 jet. This changed the way people traveled forever, and airlines from Pan American to BOAC, Qantas to Malaysia Airways swept in and revolutionized travel with fast and efficient jet airplanes. Subsequently, ocean liner travel collapsed. Now, this isn't the same sort of collapse that we're seeing from the impacts of COVID. While COVID impacted all cruise lines at the same time, with the same severity, due to the nature of the health-related shutdown, the airlines lured passengers away from ships over time, slowly at first, then faster and faster, until almost the entire passenger shipping industry, as it was, disappeared. This period, which took place over several decades, is characterized by the mass extinction of ocean liners. And this included ships like Coronia, Titanic, as well as Queen Mary, SS France, Arcadia, Orchides, Oronce. I'll stop the list there because it could actually take up the entire video. Some of these ships like Queen Mary and France were saved, but many more ended up at the breakers, with scrapyards in Britain, Taiwan and Pakistan being inundated with former ocean liners. Not to mention ports around the world where laid-up ships sat idle. At the time, people thought the decline of passenger ships would endure, but out of the ocean liner extinction, a new opportunity arose: cruising. Cruising had existed for decades, but the ability for jet aircraft to bring travelers to cruise ports, coupled with the abundance of laid-up passenger ships for sale, meant new companies such as Carnival Cruise Line and Norwegian Cruise Line could flourish, and flourish they did, until 2020, which brings us full circle. Yes, we are seeing an unusually high number of cruise ships scrapped at this time. Yes, this situation is highly unusual, and yes, the cruise industry is in a crisis situation. But if we look back at history, we can see other times of crisis that passenger ships and shipping lines ultimately overcame. So next time you see a headline about cruise ships going to scrap, just remember that while the number of cruise ships being scrapped is unusual, scrapping cruise ships is not. And whilst we might miss the individual cruise ships that are being scrapped, the majority of passenger ships are still waiting for the cruise shutdown to end. If you'd like to know more about ship scrapping and what's been going on during the COVID shutdown, I have linked to videos that I've made on these topics in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you found the video interesting. If you did, please don't forget to give it a like and hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss future videos. I would like to send out a huge thank you to Peter Canego for access to his wonderful footage of the ships being scrapped in Alang. The footage used in this video is from his DVD, The Sands of Alang. Peter has a new DVD available, Torn Castle, which is dedicated to the former RMS Windsor Castle. Details of these DVDs can be found in the description below. I'd also like to thank Rob Henderson and Doug Kramer for access to the Henderson and Kramer collection. Thanks once again for watching, and when it is safe for us to travel again, I hope to see you on board.